Now that we have some background information on our firm and its competitors, I'm going to outline our approach in determining the factors of production, market model, how we plan to define Q, describe our strategy for estimating independent variables in the demand function, and describe our strategy for estimating production costs, and of course the limitations to these. So factors of production are inputs. To produce our products, we require labour, we require land, financial capital, physical capital, raw materials, and entrepreneurship. These can further be separated into fixed and variable costs. So in the short run, our fixed costs include our land, brewery infrastructure, and physical capital, such as our silo tanks, filtration plants. Our variable factors include our labour, entrepreneurship, human capital, our risk management, financial capital, which includes our resource allocation and investment, and raw materials and packaging, of course. So the market model. Forex Gold best represents an oligopoly. The reason for this is there are a small number of large production firms or breweries in this industry, and our product is a differentiated product. There are various flavours, methods, and branding techniques which can differentiate our product. We compete heavily in non-price competition through advertising and PR activities. Entry and exit at this scale of industry is very difficult. This creates barriers of entry and exit. And market concentration. We hold a large percent of the market. We hold between about 12 to 15%. To expand on this further, we can see Carlton Draft is the largest most popular beer in Australia at 17%, and Victorian Bitters and Forex comes second at 12%. Demand estimation, how we plan to define Q. Forex Gold comes, like most beers, in a range of quantities, so we're going to quantify the output into litres of beer for our demand function. How we plan to estimate the demand for Q, where Q equals the litres sold per month, P will equal the average price per litre, PC will be our competitors' per litre price, PI is the per capita income in Queensland in thousands of dollars, AX is our monthly advertising expenditure, AC is our competitors' expenditure for advertising, and T represents outside temperature. Plan to estimate the demand for Q. We're going to average the market share, price of our products, our competitors' products, and income trends using historical data and expert opinion. And we're going to take this over a year period and reduce it to monthly segments so we can factor in seasonal trends. Potential problems in determining Q, we have access limitations. Much of the primary data we don't control and is controlled by research firms. Secondary data may be outdated. Independent variables may provide misleading associations with demand, such as temperature. Distinguishing Forex Gold as a normal or inferior good. And advertising expenditure will, of course, be hard to quantify as well. So to simplify this process for our cost of production, we're going to separate fixed and variable costs. So we're going to look at the land, the brewery, warehouse, and the physical capital as one fixed cost. And we're going to take the variable costs, our labour and raw materials, and even our tax, which will vary on the alcohol percentage of the drink that we serve. Limitations of cost estimation, obviously the complexity in determining the cost involved in the production. This is, as we've just said before, we don't have access to those records, which obtaining company data also covers. And input prices vary. Commercial beer is subject to a number of variable inputs with dynamic price changes. We can see here as well cost breakdown of commercial beer. 25% is actually tax. This is the orange segment of the pie chart. The largest expense is actually packaging when we're producing beer. Sales and marketing is the third largest. And the ingredients in the beer only make up around about 28% of the actual cost. Thank you for listening to our presentation.